Hello again. In this video we are going to talk about the DSM-5. Those of you who have not used the DSM-5 might wonder what it is and how it is used. The DSM-5 is a reference manual for diagnosing and coding mental health disorders. The contents help practitioners assess the symptoms of clients in clinical practice settings. The DSM-5 can be found on the Social Welfare Research Guide. If you do not know how to get there, please consult the video in section 1 for a refresher. So here is the DSM-5. Warning: use the table of contents when you need to use the DSM-5 specifically. There's this search box in the upper right, but it searches content from the American Psychiatric Association journals and other publications that are not part of the DSM-5. So make sure you're using the table of contents to specifically limit to this reference book and only this reference book. We almost have to use it like it is a print book to get the needed information. So let's click on the table of contents. When we click through, you can see there are 3 main sections to the DSM-5. DSM-5 Basics, Diagnostic Criteria and Codes, and finally Emerging Measures and Models. Section 1, DSM-5 Basics, is a useful introduction and explanation of the contents and how to use this reference book. Billing codes and other information about the creation and updating of the DSM is included as well. Section 2, Diagnostic Criteria and Codes, is the meat of this reference manual. We will revisit this one shortly. Section 3 is also useful in academic work because it describes diagnoses and assessment measures that are more or less cutting edge or otherwise not included in the main body of the book. That would be Section 2. Thus, they call this diagnosis, models, and assessment section emerging. So let's go back to Section 2, Diagnostic Criteria and Codes. For our human trafficking victims, we know from the encyclopedia entry that a huge part of the after effects of human trafficking includes trauma-related conditions. So you can see the diagnostic criteria groups different diagnoses into broad categories. Let's click on trauma and stressor-related disorders. A few things to point out here. First, we see a few paragraphs with the overall characteristics in trauma and stressor-related disorders. Then it dives into specific diagnoses. One way to jump to the different diagnoses is to click on sections in the top left of the entry. You can see here various subcategories for trauma-related diagnoses. Let's click on post-traumatic stress disorder. So when we look at the post-traumatic stress disorder entry, we have a section on diagnostic criteria. Then we have diagnostic features, associated features. Scroll down a little bit more. We have prevalence, which is an important aspect of many papers related to a given diagnosis. Development and course, risk and prognosis. There's a cool section on culture-related diagnostic issues, and then below it, sex and gender diagnostic issues, which may be important in a human trafficking assignment related to specific populations. There's also differential diagnosis, comorbidity, and finally references, my favorite part, so you can find the key evidence-based materials from which this entry was derived. Also of interest may be the related articles on the right, which will help provide additional information about your topic. So that's a quick overview of what you can expect when you look up a diagnosis in the DSM-5. Let's review the section contents in the concluding video.